Okay, folks, this is the last section of Unit D, and this diagram is on page 10 of the workbook. So if we go through this, we're going to label the human ear first. This is also on page 21 of your textbook. Sorry, page 10 of the workbook. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Okay, so A is the cochlea, B are the semicircular canals, C is the anvil, or otherwise known as incus. D is the hammer, or mallet, malleus. E is the pinna, or earlobe. Eustachian tube is F. Round window, stirrup, tympanic membrane, auditory canal. Okay, so be able to label those. And the definitions of these are on page 11 of the workbook, where you've got to fill those in. That's good practice. So structure of the ear. It's involved in not just hearing, but balance, also known as equilibrium. And these are mechanical receptors, unlike the eye, which was photoreceptors. Inner ear cells have tiny cilia, which respond to mechanical stimuli, which cause the nerve to be generated, and an impulse is sent down the auditory nerve to the temporal lobe of the cortex, right? Temporal lobe of the cortex is for hearing. That's where you detect hearing. Okay, three areas: the outer, the middle, and the inner ear. And we're going to break these into those three and talk a bit about them. Okay, that's a picture of my son. Oh, just kidding. Okay, pinna, outer flap of the ear, which acts like a sound funnel. Auditory canal is the channel carrying sounds, and this is where you have your earwax. Okay, you put your Q-tip to clean your ear, that sort of thing. Middle ear begins at the eardrum, also known as tympanic membrane, ends in the vestibule. So middle ear, here we go. Ossicles are those little bones we talked about, and they magnify and concentrate the sound. And there's three little bones, the hammer, incus, and stapes. Now that's the size of them. Hammer, incus, and stapes. The the anvil is like that thing that Wile E. Coyote keeps trying to push over the cliff to kill the Roadrunner. Okay, that's an anvil, and the stirrup, that's where you put your foot for a horse, like a part of the um, saddle system. The oval window is small, then the eardrum amplifies the sound, and the eustachian tube air-filled and equalizes air pressure. So if you're on a plane and your ears pop and you swallow, you're equalizing air pressure on either side of the air of the eustachian tube. Okay, swallow, it opens it up, and the pressure inside is equal to the air outside, and that the uh, the tympanic membrane, the eardrum, pops. Okay, it just changes shape a little bit. There's another picture of the eustachian tube. And you can see it's smaller in infants. So little babies on planes cry a lot. That's why they can't equalize the air pressures easily. Okay, inner ear. There's a picture of it. Vestibule, let's find it on the picture here. Connected to the middle ear by the oval window, houses two small areas, the utricle and saccule. And it's involved in what's called static equilibrium, one motion. Semicircular canals, here they are. Three fluid-filled canals help the body balance. The cochlea, coiled snail shell, there it is, lined with hair cells that respond to different sound waves and frequencies. And so this is involved, so vestibule and semicircular canals involved in equilibrium, balance. Okay, cochlea involved in hearing? Yeah, the auditory nerve. Okay, so figure 12.21 shows this, and we just want to look at how hearing and sound work. Now, again, this is on page 11 of the workbook. We can work through this. So sound wave causes the tympanic membrane to vibrate, causes the three little bones, hammer, incus, anvil, to vibrate. And if it's really loud, there's little muscles that will contract. The stapedius muscle will pull down, so there won't be so much. It'll dampen the vibrations. Sound wave, tympanic membrane, three bones. Those the vibrations push against the oval window. And then the cochlea is where it gets detected, the sound. Okay? And that's in what we call the organ of Corti. That pushes it on the round window to relieve pressure, and an impulse goes down the auditory nerve to the temporal lobe. So there's your sequence. Oval window inward, which causes the round window to push outward, and this is going to trigger fluid in the inner ear. Remember, the inner ear has fluid. It's not air, which the outer or middle ear have as the mode of conduction. It's fluid, and that's going to get converted in electrical chemical impulse. This organ of Corti contains the sound receptors composed of one inner and three outer row hair cells. There's a basal membrane, anchors the receptor hair cells, and when they bend, they send impulses down to the temporal lobe. The tectorial membrane does not move. Hair cells are pushed against its surface to cause depolarization. Now, you can see that here. Here are these hair cells. There's my basilar membrane, and there's the tectorial membrane. Okay? When this moves, it causes the hair cells to shift. They bend. That sends an impulse down to the auditory nerve. So we have different frequencies, low frequencies, high frequencies right here. So different areas of the cockle shell, the hair cells bend more easily here. Here the hair cells are stiffer and they don't bend as easily, and they detect high frequency if they bend. Okay, so middle ear, narrow cochlear rigid hairs, high pitched sounds, and noise dies out quickly. Yeah, for the near the middle ear. And further down the cochlea, wider elastic hairs, low pitched sounds, noise lasts longer. Old people have these ones die off more easily than the low pitched ones, starting around my age, 40s, 50s. Okay, watch this video. It is very, very important that you watch that. It'll explain everything because some of this is like confusing. You need it in 3D. And this is just crazy. You've got to try this. Is it Laurel or Yanni? Give it a shot.